us to join, you know what, we're going to zoom out. Now it's time for us to join the bag bottom with the bag body. So what we will do is we'll place this inside the bottom, and we will want to start by working through these stitches along the edge. So these 6 split single crochets along the edge will match up with the 6 slip stitches along the side of our bag bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert my hook through the first stitch on the side of the bag, as well as through that split single crochet stitch on the bottom of the bag. And you don't have to enter this one as a split single crochet. We're just going through that stitch. And then we're going to yarn over and slip stitch. So we're slipping through both those stitches at the same time. So I'm inserting through both the bag bottom, yarning over, and slip stitching. And now that we are in that groove of doing that, we're simply just going to be slip stitching all these stitches together. We have the same stitch count on the bottom here as we have here. So it's just 1 for 1. We're just slip stitching through all those stitches together. So we go through the stitch on the bottom, through the stitch on the bag, slip stitch together. And then as you get to the corners, you're simply just going to go right into that next stitch. Don't do your chain stitches if you chained on the corner. And we're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch from the bag body. We can already tell it creates a nice bottom edge that's quite thick. This kind of helps the bag stand up a little bit, gives it a nice firm bottom. Now, if you really, really want a bottom of this bag that is flat and hard, you could make 2 of these and slip stitch those together with a piece of cardboard or plastic in between that creates that hard bottom. That's just a little tip if you prefer to do it that way. Once you've worked those slip stitches all the way around the bottom of that bag, you can go ahead and fasten off and then do an invisible join if you would like. And this part of the bag is complete. So the only things we would have left is if you needed to still put on a handle, if you wanted to do any tassel accessories, those can always be fun on a bag. It's really up to you to do whatever you want to do for the rest of this. It has been a really fun one to make. Now, if you are like me, you love bag options because we love bags. So for this option, this is the one where if you follow the beginning instructions, you end up with a yarn handle, which I love. It's simple, it's cute, it's easy to do. Or you can go ahead and attach a handle after you finish the bag and do that by purchasing different types of handles. Now, sometimes you have to get creative in the way you attach your handle. They're not all the same. I found this one online, and then this one was at Joann's. Now, the one from Joann's did not come with these leather straps. There are some that do, and they attach in a different way. But all I did was I took a square piece of leather, did hole punches in each side, and then simply used my yarn and my yarn needle and weaved through to attach those and weaved in the ends on the inside. So this is what the inside looks like. It's just attaching through those hole punches and weaving a couple of times around. Now, if you didn't want to use the leather and you just had the metal, you can also just loop through with your yarn the same way I did here, but just going over and into this metal part, back down to your bag and looping over. You can stitch it on however you like. You can stitch it on to the back side where you didn't see any of the stitching on the front. And each handle you buy is going to be a little bit different. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of creativity. Now this one was really unique, but when I saw it, I knew I wanted it, especially with this top curve. I thought this would fit nicely in there. And I'm going to go ahead quickly and show you, if you do happen to like this look and you purchase this one, how to do this one, because I was stumped at first and then figured it out. So in order to attach this type of bag handle, I'm going to be attaching it from this point to this point. It will stretch it out a little bit just simply because of the size of this handle, but I still think it looks great. I'm going to take an amount of yarn, my tapestry needle, and the first thing I'll do is I'll attach my yarn on the inside here by weaving back and forth and just getting it set up to work with it. Now I like to come up in the center of my stitch. So I just bring the yarn up through the center of a stitch. And then I'm going to, I kind of estimate it, but you can count down. I'm going to figure out where my center is and then where I want to start doing the bag handle. For this one, since I already did that on the first side, I'm simply going to match it up because I want these to match up quite well. And then I'll start working this through this handle where it matches up to. So when we work this, there is a slot through here where I can stick my needle, and I'm going to pull it through and then lay it down this way and go right back down the same spot I came up from. And then I'm going to pull that tight. And now I'm going to come up the next stitch and then working from front to back, because I always I found it's best to go through front to back each time. You want it to stay consistent. I'm just going to enter my yarn needle through that next open spot on the bag handle and then go right back down through that same stitch on the back and then keep working that way all the way across. And when you get done to where you're finished attaching this, you just simply fasten off, weave in your ends, making sure that you're securing your ends so that it can hold a little bit of weight because your handle will be holding some weight. And that is how I went ahead and attached by doing that all the way across to here and attach this handle to this bag.